Welcome back to the Narrow Path radio broadcast. My name is Steve Gregg. We have another half hour of taking your phone calls. If you'd like to be on the program, you have a question about the Bible you'd like to discuss, you have a difference of opinion from the host you'd like to discuss, feel free to give me a call. The number is 844-484-5737. All right. Now, just before the break, we had a call from Ann in Dallas, Texas, who was saying that she was concerned because her pastor doesn't talk about the end times. And he just basically says, don't worry about it, just serve the Lord and don't worry about it. I have to tell you, I agree with your pastor. But the fact is that you heard some people tell you that, the first 5 trumpets have sounded or something like that in Revelation, and implying that, the end is very near, Antichrist is coming, Jesus is coming, and you're concerned that you need to be informed so that you can warn your children and grandchildren. I can understand that desire. Just let me give you some perspective on this. There are a certain kind of people, and you've talked to some of them apparently, who think it's very important for us to know how near the end is. I'm not sure why they think that's important. I guess they figure that some people who would not love God ordinarily might pretend to love God if they knew the end was near, because after all, they don't want God to catch them unloving to him. Of course, if they love God, a person who loves God doesn't care if the end's near or far. We'd love for Jesus to come back soon. We long to see him, but it's not going to make a difference in our life if he waits, because we love God. We're going to live for God. But there are people who don't love God, or at least they think that others will not love God enough to serve him unless they can scare them into believing that, the tribulation is upon us, the Antichrist is upon us, and so forth. Let me just say that if it is true that we are near the end of the age and that Jesus is coming back in the next few years, and maybe that we'll see Antichrist rise and so forth, if that is true, I don't know a thing you can do differently to make it happen differently. I mean, if that's what God's doing, that's what God's doing. The one thing important to all is that we serve the Lord. And I agree with your pastor. If you serve the Lord, then you don't have to worry about knowing the details, because nobody does know the details. Your friend who said that some of the trumpets have sounded and so forth, she or he is influenced by a certain view of the book of Revelation, which I don't share. And which many people do not, and it's not necessary to believe it, what they believe. There's different views of Revelation, and some of them are, to my mind, more reliable and more truthful than the one that you heard from your friend. But I do have a book. You're welcome to. You asked for a resource. I have a book called Revelation 4 Views, a parallel commentary, which I wrote, and it's available anywhere that books are sold. You can go on Amazon or ChristianBook.com and put my name in there, Steve Gregg, and that book and my book on the 3 Views of Hell will both come up. It's Revelation 4 Views is what it's called, and that would be the resource I think it would help you to read. But the main thing is that Jesus' disciples, before he ascended, asked him, are you at this time going to restore the kingdom to Israel? He said, it's not for you to know the times or the seasons. Now, times and seasons refers to general time frames of the things that the Father has said in his own power. Jesus basically told them not to worry about that. That's what your pastor is saying too. Don't worry about it. Now, you're going to hear a lot of people who are all excited about it, but let me put it in perspective. I think you said you're kind of a new Christian, or at least you said you were ignorant. Everybody's ignorant about many things, but I have to say that I've been in the ministry for 50 years, and when I first was in the ministry in 1970, there was a big rage over the immediate coming of Christ. Hal Lindsey had written a book that sold 20 million copies called The Late Great Planet Earth. It sold more than that later. It immediately sold 20 million copies. It was a huge bestseller. And it was saying basically that Jesus is coming back before the early 80s. And many churches were really caught up in this, like your friend apparently is. And they were sure Jesus got to come back before 1981 and rapture the church. Well, that didn't happen, and so they began to revise their dates and so forth. Another guy put out a book that went out to every pastor in America, I think. He sent them out free copies, called 88 Reasons Why the Rapture Will Occur in 1988. He was off on that too. Then there's some Korean group of Christians that had their own ideas about the second coming is going to come in the early 90s. I forget what year, 92 or so. That didn't work out either. Then there was Harold Camping, and he put out two different books with two different years because the first one failed to come true. He put out another one with another year, and both failed to come true. And every time somebody says, we're really near the end and Jesus is coming in such and such a year, all these predictions have one thing in common. They're all false, and they've all been proven false. And your friends' predictions will probably be proven false also, because Jesus has not given us information. God has not given us information to know how near the end we are. Now, if someone says, well, we need to know we're near the end, I think, first of all, why? Why do I need to know if I'm near the end or not? Am I going to serve Jesus differently or less if we're not near the end? Why would I do that? Am I only serving Jesus for convenience? Because, well, it'd be very inconvenient for him to catch me not serving him, so I better do it. If that's true, if I'm serving Jesus for convenience, there's a good reason to do it every single day, because I could die today. And there will be several million, hundreds of million people who will die today. I don't know whether I'll be among them or not, but I'll be one on one of these days. And I'm living in my last generation. I don't know if I'm in the last generation, but I'm living in my last generation. So I could die today, and if not today, it won't be very much longer. So I should live for Christ if I'm mainly concerned about, being ready when Jesus comes. Well, that's equally important that I be ready when I die, because that's, in a sense, him coming for me at that day. So it doesn't really make any difference if Jesus is coming back in the next year or 10 years or 100 years. I'll be dead before then. I'll be dead before 100 years from now. So I fully expect to be dead in less than 30 years, maybe considerably less. That being so, I don't really see that knowing how soon Jesus is going to come back would make a difference at all, just like I don't know when I'm going to die. Both things would have the same ramifications. If Jesus comes back or if I die, both of them mean I stand before God. Now, some people might think, well, there's another thing. If Jesus is coming back soon, then we're going to have to be ready to face Antichrist or else tribulation. Well, that's true whether Jesus comes back soon or not, too. Jesus told us we're going to have tribulation. Paul told us we'll have tribulation. Christians need to be ready for tribulation, whether it's the tribulation or some other tribulation. It doesn't really matter. There's Christians in China. There's Christians in North Korea for whom the tribulation couldn't be any worse than it is right now. There's nothing worse could be done to them than what they've been through. And that's been true of Christians in the Roman Empire under Nero. That's been true of under communist countries and of some in Muslim countries throughout church history. I think that we need to get our perspective right. We sometimes feel like the norm is for Christians to live like us Americans are living right now, comfortable, not persecuted, prosperous, happy, well-fed, and secure. And if we're living at a time when that's going away, we really want to be prepared for that. Well, prepare for that. Because whether Jesus is coming back this century or in another century off in the future, we still are facing, no doubt, future tribulation. Not maybe the tribulation that Jesus spoke about, but who cares? Who cares whether it's that one or another one? What's the worst thing the Antichrist can do to Christians during the tribulation? Cut their heads off? Well, Christians are getting their heads cut off now and have for the past 2,000 years. So, what's the difference? I don't really think that this fascination with the end times is a healthy one. I do think that Christians do need to have as part of their theological mindset that Jesus will someday come back and set everything right. And Christians have always had that in their theological mindset. And that's been for 2,000 years. And if it's another 2,000 years before Jesus comes back, all Christians have to have it in their mindset, someday Jesus will fix things. Because you have to know that history makes sense. History doesn't make sense at all if things aren't ever going to get fixed. But they don't have to get fixed now in order for history to make sense. There's ups and downs. There's horrible times and good times. And someday God is going to fix everything. In the meantime, we have our life to live for God, and it will have its end. And so will your children and your grandchildren. I think that teaching people to live for God rather than to look for an immediate coming of Christ is much wiser. Because you know what? Again, I knew people who got saved as teenagers in 1970 because they were told Jesus is coming back right away. Guess what? He didn't. And some of those people just decided, well, what the heck? I guess this Christianity thing's for the birds. Because what all the preachers were saying was simply a lie. Jesus wasn't, in fact, coming right away. And much better to say things that you know are true, because then you'll never be found to be a liar. If you say Jesus is coming soon, well, you might be right, or you might not be right. Nobody really knows. So anyway, you asked me for a resource. My own book on Revelation, I think, is a resource I'd recommend, Revelation 4 Views. It'll help put some perspective on this matter for you, because, I mean, a lot of people are assuming that Revelation is describing the times we're living in now. And there's honestly, I don't think there's any good reason to believe that's true. But I also have lectures on the subject. And, you can also go to other resources on our website that talk about, end times or the passages in the Bible that are about end times. We've got lectures on every verse of the Bible just about in our website. They're all free. So those are my thoughts. I mean, the main thing was you were concerned your pastor was neglecting this subject. I think your pastor's, I mean, I don't know if I agree with your pastor about his theology, but I think he was probably well justified in saying, I'm not going to be teaching about the end times. I don't even know if any of us are going to live to see the end times. But I do know that we're going to live to see temptation tomorrow, temptation to compromise, temptation to be unforgiving, temptation to be unloving, temptation to do the wrong thing. And that's what I need to be teaching my congregation, is how to live for Jesus. Because you know what? If you're living for Jesus, then he can come at any time, it's no problem. Or you can die at any time, it's no problem. The main thing is to be living for Jesus all the time. And if there are people who would pretend to love God because they think the rapture's coming or something and the tribulation's coming soon, I don't think God's going to be fooled. I don't think God's ever fooled by people who pretend. And anyone who really loves God will love him for who he is, not because they're trying to save their skin from an imminent danger. If a person wants to just convert so they don't go into the tribulation, they're not thinking about anyone but themselves, and that's not how you get saved. That's how you just look out for yourself, which is the opposite of getting saved. It's when you surrender yourself, when you deny yourself, take up your cross, and you'll do anything for Jesus Christ, including die, if it calls for that. That's when you really are in a position to really know Jesus, because he doesn't really make himself known to people who are just playing games with him and trying to, get fire insurance. That's not what he's about. He's not an insurance salesman. He's a Lord. And so what he wants people to do is to recognize him as Lord and embrace him out of love for his lordship. And anyone who does that doesn't have to worry a thing about the end times, because, as I say, today may be the end time for you. It might be your last day. I hope it isn't for you, but it is for some people. And so obviously it would have been good for them to have gotten right with God and to live for him, because I don't know. I'm just taking the same position your pastor is, so you might be unhappy with me about that.